Right. So, welcome to Beginning Drawing One. My name is Leah Kohlenberg. I am your instructor. I'm a professional artist and a former journalist. I was a journalist for 10 years when I first graduated from college a long time ago in 1990. I worked for dailies across the US. I spent 5 years living in Asia. I worked for Time Magazine and was there over the Hong Kong handover to China in
Ah,
98. I had a night fellowship to teach journalism in Mongolia, so I was there for a year. And then I came back to the US totally confused about like what I wanted to do. Um, Time was asking me to do stuff, but I wasn't. I kind of felt in my heart there was something new for me. So I began drawing and painting kind of accidentally at the age of 32. That is also a really long time ago. I'm 56 now, so it's been 25 years that I have become that I've been an artist. But because I did it as an adult, I remember I remember how hard it was to like learn all the things I had to. I remember A, how excited I was, and B, how it was really hard to learn things, and particularly coming from the left brain, um, like journalism field. It's a hard transition. So my job here is to introduce, anybody can learn how to draw. And my job here is to get you excited about drawing and get you to think about joining other programs, or maybe we'll do more beginning draw. We'll definitely be doing more drawing in the next year. But I thought this was the last little kind of squidge of time before everybody gets taken up with holidays and, end of year stuff. So that is me. Oh, and I'm in Portland, Oregon. So Echo, why don't you introduce yourself, say who you are, where you are, what you do, and what you like to get out of this class.
great. Thanks, Leah. Nice to meet you, and nice to meet you, Kate and Anik. My name's Echo Wan. I'm based in New York. I'm currently um like talking to you from my tiny studio in Chelsea, in New York City. I have been like Kate. I also come from a different country. I am originally from Shanghai, from a small city actually, right outside of Shanghai. I came to New York City in 2017.
Wow.
Um, I had already been working as a journalist before that. I worked for a German newspaper most of the time based in Shanghai. It's called Frankfurt Allgemeine Zeitung. And then
I know it. Yeah.
I was there for a few years. I really liked it, but also I was quite confused about what I wanted to do. But I knew that I wanted to live in New York. So I applied for journalism school. That's how I came to New York City in 2017. After I graduated, I first started working at NPR on a business podcast with Planet Money. That was really fun.
Mhm.
And then 2018, I started with Reuters. No, 2019. I started with Reuters. So I've been with Reuters for now 6 years. Had always been kind of covering M&A related stuff, very technical, but I had kind of a lot of fun covering a couple of companies. One of them is a TikTok, and the other one
Hmm.
was Grindr for a few years.
What?
That was really a lot of fun.
No way.
Yeah, because usually at a party, if you're not like doing finance, my beat really doesn't really make much sense to people. But then always people know who these companies are, and then for me as a journalist, it was really a lot of fun writing about them. But anyway, personally, I've never really done painting at all, but I really enjoy going to art galleries and museums and exhibitions. And I think during COVID, a couple of my friends started painting and drawing, and I think they were both doing really well, very well. I went to Normandy over the summer with one of them, and there was I think it was the 100-year Impressionism exhibition or festival
Oh,
there. So went to a lot of galleries there, and then she painted just off all this masterworks because she got inspired and all that. And I thought, oh, that's really really nice. I wanted to do that as well. And I guess also during COVID, you spent a lot more time at home. So I think
right.
that's probably yes, it's something I really wanted to try and see. Yeah.
This is awesome. I don't know, Anik, she sounds like a goner to me. Already. We've already got it. It just waits. I love that. That's a fantastic introduction, and you can go very far. I can
That's
tell you right now, you can go very far. If this is something you want to do, you will go far. My job is to get you there. Kate, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm part of the digital team at Reuters. So I work for .com, the website. I'm a newsletter and section editor. So I send out the daily briefing newsletter every day, and also take care of the healthcare and pharmaceutical section online. So all quite, you know, you all know about the news agenda at the moment. So
Yeah.
the taking up art, I think it's a form of expression of, I've never identified as the artist in the family, drawing, painting, visual arts, and have never kind of been my area of expertise. But I have a young daughter, and it's all about, trying new things and being willing to sort of throw yourself into things. So I'm leading by example in that regard. I'm originally from Cape Town, South Africa. I moved to London a month before COVID hit.
Wow, both, yeah, like.
Yeah, it was 2020. It was January 2020. Came over with my previous company with Microsoft, and it was like a month of London at full tilt, and then it was like a year and a half of lockdown London. So as soon as we finished the lockdowns, we were like, let's get the heck out of London, because so we're now actually in a little village, about a half an hour's train ride from London. So I can kind of still come into the office, but at least there's sort of space and countryside and not quite so many people around. But yeah, just really looking forward to this, learning some technique, and also, smashing labels about what you can and can't do.
It's like, I'm glad I have this recorded. I may at one point like call it all back. That's wonderful. And while I'm thinking about it, and Anik, before I have you introduce yourself, I want you three to each write down 3 words describing exactly how you feel right now. And then I want you to put it away. So just scribble it on something and then don't look at it again. That's very brave, Kate. It's a lot of, and anybody can draw. It can ignite an entire new logic system in your brain. My hope is that in this session, you will start to understand why we don't all know how to draw. Like, why do we learn how to draw, right? Like, this is like, because we could, but we don't. Anik, go ahead and introduce yourself.
So my name is Anik. I have a longer version of that name, but I use this one most often. So I've been with Reuters for 10 years, and for the past 5 years almost, I've been painting with Leah and Lado also.
Mhm.
So honestly saying, I can warranty that after a few years with Leah, you're gonna do at least this, for instance, as in background.
Oh, that's looking good.
Wow.
Not finished yet. And really this time taught me a lot about myself, about painting, about challenging yourself, about the fact that yeah, I can do that. So that was really great, and she's the best teacher, and you have now it on record. So what I do at Reuters is basically I'm learning editor for Gdańsk bureau, one of the biggest European bureaus, and I work with the yearly career journalists. So basically, very often graduates of university that have like wonderful like a picture in their head of who is a journalist and so on, and then I take them, break them, and put them together to teach them some finance and income statement magic and workspace magic and other things that we do at Reuters in Gdańsk. They still like me. ish.
Yes.
So so I hope I'm doing good
She's
job.
a good teacher, and now you have that on record.
Thank you. Thank you. I also have one of the Pulitzer winners of Reuters saying that. So yeah, the more the merrier. So simply that's what I do normally. Plus, another fun fact is that yeah, I started during the COVID, and then I discovered that my son and Leah actually share birthday.
Yes.
That's how everything comes,
You
you know,
poor
together.
woman. I'm sorry you're surrounded by Geminis who are insane.
I have a Scorpio and Gemini at home, so it's fun.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's what
Um,
that's about me.
That's fantastic. And I feel like I watched Onyx Sound growing up. I mean, he was like 2 or 3 when we started, and
Yep.
Onyx is back here, even though she is not technically a beginner, because she
Yep.
now knows that like beginning is a cyclical thing. So today we are going to do a drawing exercise, and then as we get going, I'll start talking to you a little bit about the Reuters program, so you know more about what we do. But let's get started. So I want you to get a piece of paper. I'm going to pop this up here so everybody can see it. Our first assignment is I'm going to put you in right brain. So I'm going to have you draw a box like this and copy what's here. But first, oh, sorry, that was from an assignment yesterday, but it will still work for our purposes. First, I'm going to define some terms for you. So the first question is, Anik, don't answer this one. What is that? What is it?
Is it a circle?
Circle.
Yes. So what is that?
Like
Kidney.
a shaped. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Yes, I've heard kidney, I've heard jelly bean, I've heard all kinds of things. In like the lexicon of our left brain, a circle only looks like this. But in our right brain, we think of circles as more like a group, a loose group. And the circle group, circle family, really, is anything that's rounded with no sharp edges. So it can be like this, it can be like that, right? It can be anything that's kind of roundy shaped. You can see how that might be helpful in drawing, right? Having a sort of expanded view of a circle. So there are 5 families of shape. You guys do not have to write this down. I actually have a handout I'm going to email you or put across the thread and you can have it. And Kate, this is a great thing to do with your kids because it actually comes from a book I will also share with you later. So we have circle family. We have the dot family, which is just like the circle family, except it's filled in, right? So if all of these shapes were filled in, that would be dots. And then my question for Echo and Kate, because Anik already knows the answer to this question, is what is the shape of your doorway? If you look at a doorway, what is your typical shape?
Rectangular? Sorry.
Yeah, a rectangle. However, we do not have a rectangle family. We have these 3. We have straight lines. We have angle lines. And we have curved lines. So straight lines can be thick, they can be thin, they can be little, they can be big. Angle lines are just 2 straight lines put together like this, nearly or widely. And curved lines are just curved lines. They can be little like this, they can be bigger like that, they can even be kind of curly like a snail shell. So my question now is, using these 5 families of shape, what is the shape of your doorway? If it is not a rectangle, what is it?
It's angle lines.
2 angle lines put together, or
Yeah.
or
Or straight lines.
yeah, 4 straight
Sides.
lines. Or if you're looking into a dark doorway, it's 1 thick, right? Straight line, right? So this is the first sense that you're going to get that your left brain, and we're going to talk about what that is. I'm going to put you in right brain right now with this next exercise, but we're going to talk about what that means and why we struggle with these ideas, right? They're actually fairly simple when you think about it, but we fight them. So let's go back to this. Are you? Where did I put you? Hold on, somewhere, here somewhere. It was just here. Ah, here it is. All right, so if I have this, the families of shape are represented here in this.
Straight line. Well,
Who said, what did I hear? What was it? Straight lines?
straight lines.
Yeah, there's definitely straight lines.
think-
I see angle lines also.
There are angle lines, absolutely.
I see some curved lines as well, but not circle or dots.
Excellent, excellent. A plus, right, Anik? A plus on this one, right? So some people confuse these lines with this one up here, up close like that, with a circle, but we can't see it, right? All we can see, we're kind of guessing what we think it might be, but really, yes, this is excellent. So really all this is a series of straight lines, angle lines, and curve lines. And so what I want you to do right now is draw a little box, right, on your paper, kind of square-ish, and then you're gonna quickly, as quickly as you can, start to kind of copy what's up here. So you're gonna find yourself, look, I'm doing this with Sharpie. It's very brave of me because I can't like erase anything. Right? So as quickly, and to be fair, I've done this a whole ton of times. Even so, I'm just quickly doing it to show you kind of how we do this, right? You want to try and repeat as much as, oh, and then here, these little two. I just covered up those two little ones. I'm sorry. So you don't have to get those little ones down here if you can't see them. Just copy what you can see. I want you to do that now. As quickly as you can. Don't panic.
It's the quickly that's got me panicking.
Oh, don't panic. Okay, just slow yourself down. Slow yourself down. It's funny. We're going to talk about the stress relief of drawing and painting, but drawing and painting, while it does provide relief, also creates a kind of stress, but it's a different stress that we expect and we need as we're learning something new. So there are different kinds of stresses we have learned over the years. If you need to erase, that's fine. If you don't get it quite right, that's also okay. Don't worry about it. And I like it. I see that I can see you looking up and down and up and down. That
It's only
is
because I've got a rubbish memory.
no, the point is
Okay.
you can't.
I've
So
done.
that's absolutely proper drawing form.
Okay.
You can't, you're not supposed to. I know
Okay.
it's weird. People think that you should look at something once and remember everything about it. You can probably remember one line. In this particular case, so this is good. This kind of looking up, down, is what I would call proper drawing form. Of course, I can see it because I can see you looking down at your paper and then up. When you think you're done, hold it up.
Like this. Is it
Let's see. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna spotlight you.
I'm not.
Looks good to me. Looks good to me. That looks great, Echo. Okay, let's see, Ani. Wait, how am I? Here we are. I'm going to remove the spotlight. Yeah, sometimes it's tricky with the light, which is one of the reasons that we have. Looks great. How did it feel, Anik, this time?
It's a bit stressful also because of the fact that I'm coming back to drawing and
I know you prefer painting. I get it.
well, I know. I mean, yeah, but at the same time, I think that to move somewhere with my painting, I need more drawing. So
Yes. Okay, good. So there's always a little stress. Okay, Echo, I got you. It looks great. Hey, let's see yours. Not
Sorry.
just, and I don't here. Hold on, I'm gonna add you up so we can see.
Sorry.
Oh, is it back? Yes, that's great. It looks, for some reason it's looking, yep, that looks fine. That looks great.
Is
All
it
right.
flipped?
It looks backwards to me, but I never trust the Zoom screen, right? So you might be
Okay.
seeing it backward. It looks great. I had to just sort of translate it in my head a little bit. Excellent work. So how hard was that on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being easy and 10 being hard?
I think 2.
2, right. What,
Yeah,
anybody else have a different? I always hear different answers to this question. Kate, would you agree, or would you make it harder? Or?
I mean, no, I mean, it was easy. For me, I think it was just wanting to, the activity itself was easy enough. The sort of brain makes it harder, 5 or 6.
Isn't that funny? It's just stress, right? On
Yeah.
getting everything right. Can anybody put, and Anik, for you, you sort of explained it. Can anybody put a finger on why it was hard? Can you talk about why it was hard specifically? What's the thing that's hard about it?
I think for me, it's probably the proportion.
Perfect. Exactly. So that is a very common drawing problem. Getting things in the right places is really hard. And actually, more specifically, and everybody goes through this, more specifically, what happens is it's easy to make things too big. So you kind of start focusing on one area, and then like it drifts, and all of a sudden you're like, so that's very normal. And I wanted you to feel that, right? I wanted you to see that that's true. So you absolutely, anything else pop up that felt hard? Really, it is often proportions and getting things in the right places. But the assignment itself wasn't hard, right? So what were you drawing? Anybody have a guess?
One more time, Leah.
What were you drawing? What was it you were drawing? Any idea? It's a thing.
I thought it was branches of a tree or something.
Okay, could be branches of a tree. What else? You're laughing.
Maybe wood grain really close up.
Ooh, I love that description. That's fantastic. Anik knows what this is. So this,
Oh.
let me pop this up so you can see it. Oops, no, wait. I'm not pinning myself. I want to spotlight myself. All right. So this is a picture of a Picasso drawing of Igor Stravinsky. And if you don't quite recognize it,
Oh my
see
goodness.
that I flipped it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and in some cases, it like, whenever I print this out, sometimes it turns out the right, but you see, like, I printed it, it might have even been flipped again, depending on what you were looking at, right? So if I had said to you, if I hadn't put that little piece in a box, if I hadn't turned it upside down, if we hadn't talked about shape, I just come in and said, okay, guys, your first assignment is to copy the legs on this Picasso drawing. How hard would that be on a scale of 1 to 10? Same assignment.
Yeah, that'd be 11.
Yeah, impossible, right? It's an impossible thing. So how is it that something that's easy becomes impossible when we don't have it framed in the right way? That is the difference between right and left brain. So that's what we're going to talk about right now. And I'm going to tell you right now that your ideas about right and left brain aren't correct. So I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm not trying to set you up to look silly. I'm trying to show you that the concepts of right and left brain have to be kind of redefined for us. So let's see here. We have, bring this up just a little bit. What are your ideas that you've heard about left and right brain? What are the ideas? I know you've heard something about it.
It's almost like one side, I can't remember, but it's almost like one of these two is about numbers, is about facts, and the other one is about it's more about kind of the very non-tangible side of things, the feelings.
Interesting. Okay.
I think I always thought of left as analytical and right as creative.
Exactly.
Um,
Okay. Exactly. That's exactly what we all are taught. That's what we all think. I've taught this class in probably 20 different countries, and everybody says the same thing. Over 15 years, everybody says the same thing. In fact, if you really analyze it carefully, you will see that this is a false dichotomy. It doesn't make sense. We're word people. We know what words mean. So is this. Facts and non-tangibles, because a fact can be non-tangible, even if you can't write. Like, although I love that description, Echo, because it's probably one of the most like I could see you trying to reach for something less kind of judge. I can see you kind of trying to get to this idea. So I really love that. So in fact, if left and right brain aren't those things, what are they? The left brain is something I like to call verbal conceptual. And we're all in it because it's connected to language from the time we're born, verbal conceptual. And the right is called visual spatial. Both are supported by fact, but it's how we interpret the facts, right? And what we do with them and how we think about them. So verbal conceptual is what we're all in from birth, and particularly the three of you. Well, I don't know, Kate, if you speak another language besides English, but I'm presuming yes. I know you other two do. Verbal conceptual is attaching a word well, many things are going on. I have a granddaughter who's 2. I didn't have kids, but my boyfriend has a daughter and a grandchild. So I'm watching a little girl grow up right now. And it's amazing to me how you watch kids learn to speak. They spend 2 years just babbling, but they're used, like, it'll be like blah 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 blah. You know, they're picking up tone. Like my granddaughter talks all the time. Blah 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 blah. And if she wants something, no, right? Like that will come out, but like, you know. So language is this thing that has tones and that are cultural and also like, you know, different and also conveying emotion and form. And our ability to pick those up happens before we're able to actually get our tongue around the words and speak them. And then on top of that, but I imagine in our little heads, even from 1 to 2, my granddaughter knows that this is a hand. She knows the word for hand, right? Because she needs to, right? She needs to have a picture in her head and then whatever other language you speak it in, right? So you have word or words for hand, and you have a concept in your mind of what a hand is. You don't need to look at a hand to know what it is, to be able to understand it. And then we spend like, I don't know, 8, 9 years just learning how to speak it. Getting that grammar internalized, getting all the tones and stuff right. And then we build onto that concept of the hand. So for example, is the hand bigger or smaller than my head?
Smaller.
Yeah. Okay. How about now? All
We
right.
know
Did you find your?
smaller, but it looks it's bigger.
All right. So did you find yourself, right? So did you find yourself hesitating to answer that question, right? How do I answer that question? This is a visual spatial, this is a verbal conceptual left brain concept of the hand. Visual spatial has a different set of rules. Visual spatial doesn't really care what is, so right brain, things change depending on how close or how far away they are, right? Particularly when you're working with drawing. So it's logical system completely, but it doesn't really care about your concept of the hand. And in fact, your concept, your verbal conceptual concept of the hand kind of gets in the way of you understanding what's going on, right? Because you just learned, the brain's really quick, like verbally, conceptually. It's like, oh, I know the hand is bigger than the head. What? I don't know what to do. Like, well, so the visual spatial is a different way of organizing information. And it is shape-based and location-based. And really often the visual spatial doesn't care whether what this thing is, or even what this thing is. If I was to draw this picture of the hand or the head, what would I draw first? The hand or the head?
Uh,
What would I draw first? Hand or
prob-
head?
I would draw the head as the frame so I could get the hand inside it, but that's probably wrong.
Right. Well, it's actually, that's not a bad way of thinking about it. And technically you could, but when you're establishing, but if you want to get proportions right and left, right, vertically and horizontally, right, you generally establish the distance of the thing you can see fully in front of you, and then you use this to measure everything else.
Okay.
Right. And some people will say the head just because the head's more complicated than the hand. Although one could even argue, is that true? There's all these crazy muscles and there's all kind, depending on how you define it, this thing is crazy. What it can do, like what the hand can do, it's crazy. But you might, if you find yourself, and that's actually not a bad idea, but like in general, when you're drawing things that are kind of overlapping, you want to establish the thing in front, and then you can use it to establish everything else. And you really use it. Like if you're going to do my hand, you would establish this distance, and then you'd figure how far up is this distance compared to this distance, right? Like, does it go halfway down? Does it go? Those are the things. And so this helps us with proportion. It is a very analytical system, but it's not something that you have been asked to use. So it's amazing, actually, what opening this side of your brain does. So the next thing we're gonna, any questions about that? Does that make sense? Yeah, awesome. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna have you do, here, I'm gonna pop myself down here, is just on a piece of paper, anywhere. I'm gonna have you follow along with some of these shapes. And when you know what you're drawing, I want you to yell it out. But draw with me. I have a dot.
Could I just ask you a question? Is anyone else seeing Leah's images as flipped? So for me, it's
Yeah,
showing
don't worry
the wrong
about
way
yeah,
around.
yeah. No, I don't think anybody else is. So don't worry
Okay.
about it.
I'm
Just
see if
draw
I
it the
can
way you
fix the
see it. We'll be able
settings.
to
Okay.
yeah,
Okay,
we'll be able to see
sorry.
it. No, it's not your fault. I don't know why that happens. It's weird. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. It's weird. So just draw it the way you see it. Don't worry, we'll be able to figure it out. So we've got a dot and then a circle. And then to the right of the dot is a straight line. So if that looks like a straight line to you, Kate, on the left, you can draw it on the left, or you can draw it, you know what I'm saying. Right. So this is a straight line. And then kind of bisecting the middle of that straight line is a horizontal. The vertical is a horizontal line, straight line. And then from the bottom of the vertical to the end of the right end of the horizontal, it's a straight line. And this is a straight line. Anybody know what we're drawing yet? Do it. You know it, Kate. You know it.
Bird.
It's a bird.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a bird. And if you can't figure that out, you probably would figure it out in this one, curve line. It's a little birdie head. So we're going to start with a very simplified version. And Kate, this is an exercise you can do with your daughter. I don't know how old your daughter is, but like
She's turned 7. She'll love it. Thank you.
oh yeah, perfect. All right. So let's finish it really quickly. We've got a straight line that starts at the bottom of that vertical line, goes kind of straight back. That's for his little back. Don't worry, we're going to get more complicated than this, but we're starting simple. And isn't it amazing how when you don't know what something is, it's way easier to draw? That's why we flip images upside down. Because when it shuts the left brain up, the left brain is like telling you all the time what's going on, and it's often wrong in this situation. Its understanding is not helpful. It's not wrong, but it's not helpful when you're trying to draw something. So like when you don't know what it is, and then all of a sudden you know what it is, it feels more comfortable, but also you start adding ideas to it. Here at the bottom of that vertical line, we're going to do a curve line for the little body. And then there you have different, well, let's do the little feet. So he has 2 legs. I like to do these as 2 little straight lines and then 3 curved ones. And then these straight lines kind of come up into the curve line because they're in the front. This one is in the back. If we want them to be flying, I like to take a curved line, go up like this, and then another curved line down like that. And then a second curved line and sorry, 1, 2, 3, third curved line and a fourth. And then you can do the tail however you want. Some people like to do circles. Other people like to do straight, or curved lines. You can use any marks, anything from the families of shape to do feathers. I'm going to add a couple of pieces. I want you to just spend a minute finishing this drawing, however you want to. I'm giving you some ideas. You can absolutely take these. But I want you to it's amazing how simple. And the problem is our brain likes to complicate things. So we kind of go to the most complicated area. We hyper focus in on one little tiny detail. But really it starts with like simple shapes. It starts with simple shapes and building. So this comes from a book called, I'll send this over to you too, so don't worry about it. It's a book called Drawing with Children. And it's fantastic. It's how I learned how to draw as an adult, and I don't have any kids. So like, I just did it myself. And then as I started to teach, I began to realize, and she wrote this book because adults had so much fear around drawing and so much unknown that she knew she had to teach the adults along with the kids. So it's done in a way, it's really brilliant when you think about it, because for at this exact moment, you and your kid are kind of in the same place. That almost never happens, right? You're just the mommy and you're the one who knows everything, and the little kid is somebody who doesn't know anything. But it puts you on kind of equal footing, and your job is to kind of calm your panic. Like, I bet you don't know how to do this. Follow along with the steps. So there's a lot of steps, step-by-step stuff in this book. And then their job is to just dive in and show you that it's okay to make a mistake, which we get caught up in. Like, I was just talking to my students yesterday in our painting class about the word perfect and how I never use it anymore, because it triggers people so hard that, like, if I say something is perfect, then it freaks them out. And if I say something isn't perfect, then they're upset. Like, it also freaks them out. So this sort of perfection, this idea that we get things right all the time on the first go, is really a kind of unfair thing that we assign to ourselves. Particularly for little kids, you will see that between the ages of like 6 and 9, they're learning how to use their hand-eye coordination. We talked a little bit about how language takes so long, right? Like, you start by mimicking the tone, then you're able to get and understanding, like attaching the word to a concept, and then you're mimicking the tone. And only after a couple years are you able to start saying words. And only after a couple more years are you able to start like uttering complete sentences. And little kids, you will also know, repeat things over and over and over again. They repeat movements, they repeat words, it's incredibly tedious for the rest of us, but absolutely crucial for the learning process. Somehow we feel like, so handwriting is another step in that direction. Being able to take your hand, a pen in your hand and draw a circle is manual dexterity that takes time to learn. And there are kids that are like super smart with verbal concepts. I think Anik found this with her son, right? He quickly was able to grasp like the verbal concepts and was very like advanced. But when you get a pen in his hand or a pencil and have him draw a circle, he's right back there with everybody else. So it's a kind of it's an emotional thing that kids go through around 6 to 9, where they're learning how to do this. And if you don't pick it up and run with more of that, and it has to do with, here, I'm going to pop this up, looking looking down, looking up, doing a little bit, looking up, checking your progress, looking up. So that is kind of right. That's all part of these are all techniques that we have forgotten, that we struggled to learn how to get. And that's why we don't really go past this space. I'd say we all are kind of, and that's why this book is so profound, this one, because it recognizes that we all stopped at 8 and we're kind of all there. That's like, if we don't start to learn about it and explain it, we're there. So this is the first step. How are your birds looking? Let's see. Oh, lovely. Oh, they're adorable. Notice that all of them are different, even though you all absolutely followed the assignment. Can you see that? They're all different. So my job is not to get you. Great job. You all did great. Notice that everybody's a little bit different. How you hold the pencil, the kind of mark making you make. And this continues on as we go into other aspects. All right, so now let's up the ante a little bit. We're going to go, I'm going to have you, and I'll send this across the thread as well so you can have a picture of it close up. We're going to draw all these. I'm going to start with the easiest one because, you know. So I'm going to start by showing you how to do the easiest one, and then I'm going to have you guys just draw the rest on your own. The easiest one is this little guy up here. He starts with a little circle, a dot, and then a straight line over the top of the dot, and then a curved line that kind of comes down a little bit lower on the back side, and then 3 straight lines for that beak. And after that, it's 2 sort of curved lines for the inner part of the body, 2 bigger curved lines for the outer part of the body. And this is my favorite part, his little toes. Just 4 little dots, 2 little ones and 2 big ones on either side. And then the tail is just a pair of lines all put together, bigger ones. And the smaller ones. So go ahead and finish your little birdie. And then while we're doing that, I'm going to pop in birds for you in the WhatsApp chat. I have it here. Dang it. Okay. Give me a second. I'll pull it down.
My little bird looks angry.
He does. Mine often does too. So you can modify that. Hold on,
No, I quite like him. He's a little bit irritable.
He is a little cute, right? He's very little cute. He's totally a little cute. And that's what happens when you make a kind of a heavier line and it goes over, right? Like, it's so funny. So look at the difference in expression we can get with a little tiny shift in the drawing. Like, it's amazing. How's it going, guys? Are you ready to do the rest of them?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to pop them up, and then I'm going to also find them in my computer. I'll put these as close as possible. So you can look at them on the WhatsApp chat. So if this is not feeling, I can't get any lower than that. All right, here, maybe I can. Oh, I know what I can do this. I can do this. So this gets even closer to you. There we go. So, hi there, welcome. Hi, Hi, so it's been about this is, remind me, you are you in Bangalore? Are you in Bangalore, new student? Guys, I'm going to pull this down just for a second so our newest student can introduce themselves. Go ahead. We're waiting for you. There we are. Welcome.
Oh my gosh. Hi, am I audible? I'm so sorry.
Yes, you're audible. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the group. It's been about an hour, so we've talked about 20 concepts that you're going to need to
Alright.
review. No, it's okay. You're going to review them in the video. I've recorded the class, so you're just gonna, if you want to, you can just sit and watch and try. But I want you to recognize that I've taught these guys a bunch of things that you don't know. So if it's not going well, you need to go back and review. How's that? That fair?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine
And-
with me. That's fine with me.
Yeah, and go ahead and introduce yourself to the group. These are all Reuters people, so tell us who you are. And
Okay. Hi, I'm from the Bangalore Publishing Bureau. I work with the publishing team. So my name's Anjana. You can call me Angie for short.
you froze a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that's about it. Sorry, my internet connection's a bit spotty. It's been raining for 3 days straight.
I remember this. Do you know Rashmi H?
No, I remember, I think I saw your email, but I don't actually know her. I think we work in different teams.
Oh, okay. She's a big, and I know it's late there. So what we're doing, Ananja, you said, is your name? Did I say it right? Anjana?
Anjana.
Anjana.
You can
Okay,
call me Angie
Anjana.
for short.
Okay. I like Anjana. I think
You
it's
can call
beautiful. I can say it. I can get it. I can
me
get it.
Angie for short.
Okay. Anjana or Angie for short.
Nah,
I'm
I
gonna
usually
put,
tell
so,
people.
and then we'll just have everybody kind of, I'm gonna
Mhm.
get you right into this. We're gonna have you start by copying what's here on a piece of paper. And if
All of these?
maybe, yeah. So maybe I just want you to do the best you can. Just know that if it's hard, we can talk about it. In general, we like to start with the simple shapes. We have 5 simple shapes that we're constructing all of these pieces out of. They
Mhm.
are the circle, the dot
The dot.
family, straight lines, angles, and curved lines. So just do your best, but don't be frustrated if it's not work. There was a lot. We've talked about it. We've covered a lot in the first
I'm
hour.
so sorry. My roommate
No,
was
I'm
sick,
not
so
telling, I'm just telling you. I'm not
Hmm.
trying to punish you or anything like that. I'm just telling you there's information you don't have that these guys do. So do the best
Sure.
you can.
All right.
And by the way, this is also from the book Drawing with Children. And I'm about to throw these on the
Okay.
thread. I'm about to throw these on the thread so that you guys have a copy of them, but I have to grab them first. They're in. They are, where are you? I'm gonna have to go here. Let's see. Yes, I want to go to my drive. Sorry, I just got a new computer, so everything's up in my drive and I have to pull up what I don't have there down into my computer so I can share it with you all. Here it is. Wait a minute. Oh, yes, here it is. Birds, drawing birds. All right, so we use the thread for different reasons on this chat. One is that, as you guys have already noticed, it's kind of hard to see things over the Zoom link. And when you get into color, it gets really crazy. So the thread is the way for me to be able to look at what you're doing, and also for your classmates to be able to see what what each other is doing. So I try to get everything up there, and it's also the place I will put the links to the recordings. Here you go. So the Drawing Birds is up there now. So if you want to like call it up on your phone or something like that, that is helpful. And also, I'd like you to take a minute to write, not a minute, 10 seconds, to write 3 words that describe how you feel right now. So it doesn't matter what they are. I really, and don't really look at the other words, but take just a second before you continue your task to write 3 words. We're halfway through class. Just take a minute to write 3 words that describe how you feel right now, then put them away. And I want you not to be, don't pull any punches. Like you can say exactly how you feel. No one's going to, it's all valid. And then we'll keep going. And while we're going, does anybody want me to talk a little bit about the Reuters program, what we do? Would it be helpful while you're working? Or do you just want quiet? Yes. Okay. So I have been teaching art for Reuters people for 6 or 7 years now. I know, crazy. It's always been online, although I would occasionally come to New York and do a workshop in New York. And Reuters would pay me to do those, but generally I was paid to do classes in New York. It started with somebody in New York named Janet Roberts, who is a good friend of mine, was actually my second editor at the second newspaper I ever worked with a long, long time ago, the Wilmington Morning Star in Wilmington, North Carolina. So Janet was my editor back then. And then she moved to New York. And then at some point I moved to New York long after I became an artist. And Janet and I had dinner, and she said, she was 51 or 52, 53 maybe at the time. And she runs the data journalism department. So she helps kind of create big stories using data analysis. She's a smart cookie. She's one of Reuters, I think, most prized employees because of what she produces. And she said to me, I don't know how to draw. And I said, give me an hour and I'll show you how to draw. And so I gave her a lesson online. I went, at the time I wasn't living in New York, I was visiting. So I went back to Portland, which is where I live now. And we did a little lesson online like this. And I showed her how to draw. Gave her this lesson actually. And she was hooked. Totally hooked. So now Janet Janet does art probably 15 to 20 hours a week along with her full-time job. She draws and paints. She does figure drawing sessions all the time. She's taken many classes at the Art Students League. She just had a big show open in New Jersey, which is where she lives. And it's incredible. And what she decided with me right away was that she wanted her data journalism team to learn how to do this, because as we've learned in the first hour of this class, the right visual spatial brain is something that anybody can learn, and that just like learning to read, write, or speak, everybody needs to learn it, right? There's a lot of skills going on here. So I taught some classes. She got her team together in a conference room, and I Zoomed in for that. And then when I would come to New York, I'd do a class in person. And in fact, actually, I also, Kate, did a couple of classes in London when I went to London, and like I did stuff at the London office too. And then when COVID hit, the mental health program, which at that point was run by Dean Yates, Dean wanted this program to be part of the Reuters curriculum, what is offered for mental health, stuff. So then COVID hit at the same time. I got a bunch more budget from, at the time, Gina Chua was in charge. So Gina got funding for 5 classes a week and that's when Anik got involved. That was back in 2020. And so every year we just do a little bit more. We have kind of ongoing classes. There are people who've actually been in the classes for 5 years. We offer different iterations, but this latest group of beginning drawing classes, I realized we needed to add so we could bring more people in. So that is kind of the idea behind this one. I'm actually hiring a teacher for next year. We're going to be adding a lot more beginning drawing and kind of drawing fundamentals classes, and maybe a little bit of beginning painting. So that it's not so intimidating to jump into a class with people who've been working for 5 years. So that's kind of the general idea, is that these classes are all free for you. I have private students that also join in. So we really do have people from all over. And it is pretty amazing. It's an amazing kind of group and has become, you know, rather cohesive. And I believe really strongly in these principles. I think all journalists should learn this. So that's that. Does anybody have questions about that? Okay, you just draw. Sometimes it's hard to talk and draw at the same time. Oftentimes it's hard to talk and draw at the same time. You guys just draw. I'm just trying to pass on information as I know it. We'll be talking about this over the next 3 sessions. And Angie, don't worry about missing. Like I said, we cover it. We record everything. You will want to review this recording. There's a lot in it. I know you guys are smart, and so I pack a lot in to every lesson. So, because this is an intellectual exercise as well as a creative one. It's an intellectual exercise to be able to, it's just a visual spatial intellectual exercise as opposed to a verbal conceptual one, which is what we're used to working with. So that's, yeah, it's great. It's like building an entire analytical skill set. And you can just let my voice wash over you all too while you're working. You don't have to listen. I don't require that. But there are a lot of stories. I think my favorite story about this program at Reuters is that very early in the process, might have been this, actually, it might have been the first drawing lesson I ever offered to Janet's team at the time. So this would have been in like 2018, right? There was a group of people, there was a woman named, I think her name was Salome. She was a real young star, rising star in Janet's team, from Eritrea originally, schooled in London, was in New York, working for Reuters. And she was working on a story that she just had this big bundle of, you know, you have when you're working on a story and or a newsletter or whatever it is you're doing, and you have so much information, it's like confusing, you don't know how to start. So she was in that phase. She was doing a human trafficking story from Eritrea, and she just had all this data and was sitting at her desk. And so she stopped what she was doing, walked into the boardroom, the meeting room, and then spent an hour and a half doing, as she said, struggling to draw a flower. And she said, I worked to draw a flower and it was hard. That's what she said. And then she drew her flower. She went back to her desk and the story came to her like that. The lead showed up right there. The everything kind of clearly described itself. And that story was shortlisted for a Pulitzer. So I always liked, it's like one of those weight loss things. You're like, results not typical, you know. But I'm not going to say you're going to write a Pulitzer Prize winning story after doing this. But what I will say is it's a kind of a meditation in a way where you're working. Oh, I see a little person. Another little person. Oh, no. Hello, little person. Hi. She has your little person is welcome to join classes.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I think she's definitely going to try afterwards.
Can we introduce you? Hi, how are you?
Do you want to say hi? Yeah,
are you feeling shy, little person?
Okay, she's good, thank you.
She's good, gotcha. All right, back up. We like kids in this class and we like cats. There's either some combination and dogs. We just like all pets, basically. There's a lot of conversating. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Oh. I personally adore my cats and they're here. So anyway, that's kind of a long way of saying there is a relationship, although kind of indirect, into triggering and exercising continually the right brain. There is a logic that will start to make sense to you. I have noticed myself, I mean, I went from journalism to being a painter and in between at being an artist, but I didn't know how to draw at the beginning. So when I was 32, 33, I was taking lessons and frustrated. But as I got better at it, I noticed, and I continued to work as a journalist part-time, you know, because that was my first skill before I got good enough at art, at least to teach it a little bit. And what I noticed was I stopped having trouble seeing the structure of a story. There's a visual structure to a story that's as important as the actual intellectual organization of ideas, right? Like you can kind of see it, like there's the lead, and then how much time does the nut graph, how much space does the nut graph take, and how much you use to describe this. There's actually a visual, and so you might even be utilizing it in some way without knowing what you're doing. So this practice, although it seems very different from drawing and from writing, links to and expands your concept of writing. It gives you another tool in your toolbox, right? Just like we talked about with verbal conceptual, where you learn, right? What is a hand in all the languages that you speak, right? The word for hand. What is a hand? You have a concept in your head. Then I show you another concept. The hand is smaller than the head. Quickly, the brain starts building its idea. So we do the same thing with visual spatial knowledge. As you get better at it, you will start to see, as you practice it more, you'll start to see where I commonly make mistakes. One of those, by the way, is something you all identified in the first exercise, which is it's easy to make things too big. By the way, curved lines, biggest, are the hardest. It's hard to do a curved line and make it small enough, the right size. It's very easy to make things too big. So be aware of that as you're going through. I actually very often will break down my curved lines into straight lines that intersect because it's so easy to make them so big. And we'll go over that in other lessons in the next 3 lessons, but just be aware as you're noticing that and doing this, that those are the things. It's easy when you're focusing in on something to make things too big and have to erase it. Erasing is not a bad thing. Erasing is a good thing. Yes. And in fact, if we really want to get nerdy about it, we're going to get nerdy. Hold on, where is it?
I'm afraid I may have made something too big. Is it all like, what do you do if you finished? Like, should I show you?
Sure. If you
Okay.
made something too big, I'm going to have you do it over again.
That's all right. But
Let's see. Oh, looks great. These look great. I might have you take one bird and do it big on one sheet. So
okay, I
well,
think
you
I
have
like
two.
this one.
You actually have 2 options here. Actually, you have 3 options. Here's what I'm
All
going to have
right.
you do. That's actually, you did pretty good. So, Angie, what you're going to probably find as you go and review is I'm just giving you kind of a structure for how we think about things, but I can see that obviously you're kind of already doing it a little bit. So this will help you understand what it is that you're doing. So you have 3 options. You can turn that into a final drawing of some kind by adding whatever you want. You can take one of those birds and do it big and turn it into a drawing. So you can add anything you want in there, put them in a tree, put them hanging on a thing. I think there's actually an example of this on the book, right? You can take add things to it that make it, right? Add things to it. Look at what you've got. Add things to it. And then if you've got crayons, colored pencils, or watercolor, color it in. That's the rest of
I've
your
got a bunch.
assignment.
Actually,
Grab
like,
whatever.
yeah, when I was listening to you talking, it actually made sense. I am kind of self-taught. Like I haven't drawn in a very long time, and it's because I'm kind of almost like I'm sort of halfway to being blind. I have keratoconus.
Oh,
So
wow.
when I draw, I'm wearing lenses right now, so I can draw, but since I don't wear lenses a lot of the time, it's difficult to judge like depth and size, and I have difficulties with depth perception. So it kind of discouraged me from doing art for a long time because I had a lot of issues with proportions. But I do already have a lot of drawings, so I thought I'd join the beginners class because I've never actually been formally taught, and it shows up. I have a lot of difficulty with proportions. So when you were talking about making lines too big, it kind of reminded me of that.
Actually, I have another assignment for you then. Give me a second and I'll put it up. I'll send it across the thread for you. Okay. So I'll have you
Okay.
do what we did at the beginning to talk about this a little bit. And
Mhm.
is your condition like, is it stable or is it, is the eye condition stable or is it,
It is stable now. I was diagnosed very early in childhood. So the earlier you get keratoconus, it's basically, I don't know if any of you have heard of it. It just means the cornea
Oh.
kind of just becomes, the linking of the cornea is like this usually, but then mine, it's weak. So the cornea gets pointed. So light doesn't refract properly. So
I
the
have
earlier
a
it
dumb,
gets, yeah,
I have a
sure, go
dumb
ahead.
question. I have a dumb
Go ahead.
question. If you do something like drawing, does it actually exercise the cornea or is there no exercise? Is there, it
There's
doesn't
no,
affect that? Okay, got it.
sadly.
Well, okay, so I would say you can do a couple of things. Well, why don't you start by just turning what you have on your paper into a finished drawing in however you would like to.
Okay.
And then while you're doing that, I'm gonna pull up another exercise for you to do.
All right, I'll
Um,
try.
Yeah, yeah. I can't I'm gonna put it across the thread because so you'll just have to look at it on your do you have a phone?
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a phone.
Yeah, so I'll send that. Everybody will have it, but I want to keep this up on the main.
Sure.
Let's see if I can pull this up. I was gonna put all these things in anyway.
Okay. I'll just try.
Is my drawing exercise? No. All right, I'll have to go pull that down. Give me a second and I'll pop it in. I have to go get it. Getting drawing. Yeah, I understand that. I'm also mostly self-taught. And and then I had to go back and relearn, and then I had to learn, but there were things that weren't easy for me to understand it. Drawing, actually, I was a much better painter, weirdly, than I was a drawer. For some reason, paint is my love language, so it's kind of easier for me to kind of pick up and muddle along. But I had to learn to draw, and with the pencil, I don't really like. And I had to learn how to draw with the pencil. And I noticed how hard it was for me. Intellectually, I just struggled a lot more than I did with painting with the brush. That's all a very particular. So what you'll find is some things you're naturally good at and some things you aren't. Everybody is like this with art. Some things will be easy for you. Some things not so easy. Hold on, I'm gonna pop this up here. All right.
I'm just gonna get my, I don't know, coloring equipment, something. I'll just hunt through what I have.
Okay,
1 second.
perfect.
I'm done also.
Where did I, dang it.
Oh, Sissy, can you see it?
And we're gonna go for about, yeah, so for everybody else as well, if you finish with the birds, put them in a scene, set a scene for them. And here's where you really get to have fun. I don't really care what you do. I want you to do whatever you want to do. I don't care if it's well drawn. If you want to use color and you have something to color with, you should color it. I want you to take this drawing and now make it your own. In whatever medium you want to do that in. And what happened here? Okay. Let's do this again. Download. Oh, I know why I'm not seeing it, because it's a JPEG. I get it. Okay. Here it is. And I'm also going to give you guys, where's my PDF? All right, this is starting to get annoying. Downloaded it twice. Okay. I'm gonna save it as a JPEG. Where are you? There you are. Can I save you? Dang it. I'm gonna do one more thing here. All right. You. JPEG. I love that we have all of you at different times. We really do have many continents represented here, and it's wonderful. And countries, you all work for Reuters. So I want you to like spend the next 4 weeks getting to know each other. Because that's actually part of the joy of this program. We have people who, we also do this program with the LA Press Clubs. We have people who are like best friends in totally different places who met in class and send each other stuff in the mail. And it's really cute. I'm thinking, of course, Anique in particular of Sandra and Diana, who just love each other. One's in LA and one's in DC. Neither of them are from the US originally, so they each have their own like kind of country of origin stories. It's interesting. This is kind of our common ground, this place. And we get it yet. There we are. I'm going to start putting in some stuff into your, there we are. So I'm going to put this drawing exercise that we did at the beginning of class into the thread. And the other thing I'm going to put is a list of tips of things I suggest you do to improve your drawing. And they can be 10 to 15 minutes a day. It can be one or two. It's really to get in 3 hours a week of drawing. This counts in a class, so you've already got 2. So how would you add another hour in? And that kind of depends on you. Some people like to sit down and like get it all done. Other people like to do it in little bits every day, like right at lunch hour or something. So it kind of depends on what you would like to do and how that works for you. I'll also include the 5 families of shape and a list of books I think are incredibly important for understanding how our drawing brain works, how the right brain works. It had a profound impact on me, I will say. As a former journalist, it hugely impacted me. I feel like everything I didn't learn, Angie, I didn't learn to draw until I was in my 30s. I was a journalist before that. And I felt like the moment I really started learning how to draw, it was like click, click. All of a sudden, I realized I was missing this piece in my life and in my analytical sensibility. And it changed everything. It absolutely profoundly changed everything for me in ways that still blow my mind. In ways that, well, I can't even, yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it. You'll see it and hopefully you'll experience them yourself. Anique is probably the best person to talk about it because she's been doing it for, so long. but it's a really incredible process. It's also really good to do things that you're not necessarily quote unquote good at, right? Like you don't know how to do, right? Yes, yes. So as we do this, you're kind of working through that process of confronting your fear about not being good at something. I can already tell. I mean, really, the people I meet at Reuters are very high level, intellectual, analytical. You're stars. That's why you're there. You're all very smart at what you do. It's very hard when you're so smart at what you do to be bad at something, right? Or not, quote unquote. I shouldn't even use those words. To be in our own judgment, not good at something or not know how to do something. But honestly, it's when you're in that space that your brain is working the hardest, and they've shown that it staves off dementia and other Alzheimer's related diseases because you're using, what happens is the moment you get good at something, like learning to drive a car or brush your teeth, anything, learn to speak, your brain shortcuts, it stops working fully. It makes it quicker. So the only way to keep your full brain working is to do things that are hard, that require so much focus that like all your neurons are firing. And as you learn a new skill, the other neurons that already know how to do all these other things, they start firing with the new skill. So we change our brain wiring as we learn something new. And we keep the brain fully exercised, which is important in life in general. Let's see here. Where else can I find things? And Reuters is very committed to this program. I was just talking to Joyce, who is running it. And I've talked to her about adding more classes, and she's totally into it. We're thinking about creating a calendar next year where people's artwork, like Reuters artwork, can be in it, printed in it, and making that available to people. There's a lot. We have a lot of plans. There it is. Right, buddy. All right, I'm popping a couple of other things across. Oh, that was pathetic. Baby. Oh, Jesus. My cat Hermes would like to introduce himself to you here. Hang on.
Oh.
I am going to, Anik has actually known him since he was born, right?
Hi,
Anik?
kitty cat.
Here, hold
The
on.
kitty cat.
I don't know if you heard him pathetically meowing just a second ago, but he was like, I want to be here.
There's the kitty cat. Can you see Lizzie? Look. Oh, there's the cat. Lizzie, look. There he is. Gorgeous.
Yeah. He's so biggy already.
He's so big.
How
We
old?
drew him once when he was a kitten.
Oh.
You're a pandemic kitty, aren't you? He's like, yeah. Let's get back to it. So, and actually right now, I'm going to remove the spotlight for a second. I want you to just hold up what you've got, wherever it is. I have this. Oh, wonderful. Oh, these are great. Beautiful. I love them. I love them. All right. We have about 15 more minutes to work. Keep on working. Oh, geez. Does anybody need to look at this anymore? The thing at the screen up top? Okay, I'll pop it up.
Sorry, I started drawing it flipped on the screen, and so
Oh, yeah.
my
So have
WhatsApp
you
is the
figured
right
out
way
how to-
around.
Have you figured out how to flip it back, or do we know why that's
I'll
happening?
flip it for next week. I'll figure it
Okay.
out. But also the WhatsApps are showing the right way around. So now that I know we're gonna have stuff loaded on the WhatsApp, I'll just wait till it shows up on the WhatsApp as well.
Perfect. But isn't that weird? I wonder why. I don't really understand it.
It's
I know.
probably error between keyboard and chair. So that's me, Epcac.
Yes. All right. All right. I guess that's true. All right. Well, that's good. Yes. So everything will go across the thread. Oh, and I'm going to give you one more. I'm going to give you an optional homework assignment. If you guys are absolutely optional, we're not going to do this in class, but if you're in the mood to try it, it's quite fun. I'm going to pop into the thread our beginning, the Picasso picture.
Oh.
And I'm going to give you an assignment if you want to do it, only if you want to do it. Nobody's required to do this. I sometimes have done this in class, but I don't feel like it's definitely just more of an ancillary exercise. So what we did at the beginning of class, and I'm going to pop this up for right now for just a moment. Where are you when I can find it? Yes. So what we did in class is this, right? But upside down. We did this part of the legs that are upside down. So your challenge would be to draw this entire thing upside down. And here's what I would suggest you do. This is an A4, print it out in either this is American A4 printer. I don't know if you have that with you, but basically all you need to do is take a piece of blank paper here. I'm going to put this up just a little bit. A piece of blank paper here, put it right on top of your printout or on the bottom of your printout like this, right? There's a piece of paper on the back here, and then fold it twice so that both your paper and your both of your paper and your source have a grid. And then go 1/4 at a time. Try to draw this whole thing upside down if you want to. That is your optional exercise. It's a little bit torturous, but in a good way. And this is probably a good time to talk about stress. Actually, well, we'll talk about it when we look at how when we finish class. We're gonna spend about 8 more minutes, and then we're gonna review. We're gonna write 3 more words, and then we're gonna look at how those words shifted during the class. Oh, now the other one's here. Come on, buddy. Oh, yeah, meow, meow. Come on. You gonna jump up too? Come on. Come on. Yes. Oh, and here's one of my other cats. He also had to jump up and get attention. There you go. This is Bazoo.
They're
Hello,
all
Bazoo.
so chubby.
They're so chubby. I know. Everybody
Those
in my
chunky
house is
boys.
chubby. They are such chunky boys. And what's amazing is he was a feral cat, so he was quite svelte when we got
Aw.
him. And since we, oh yeah, yeah,
Aww.
he's like, I'm so happy. I love. Oh,
He looks like he emotionally blackmails you for food. Is that true?
he does. I give it to him all the time. He is a really fantastic cat. Like, he's so cute. Yes, and he's hit the jackpot, and he totally emotionally blackmails me all the time. He likes to put his little paws around my neck and look me in the eye like, you only love me.
You can tell because he's doing that right now.
Yeah,
My old Labrador used to do the same. Like we would accidentally feed him 3 times a day because he would come and sit next to you, looking like a refugee right out of a camp. Like nobody's fed me in 3
Yeah.
days. And
They're not
yeah,
dumb animals.
they're not
They
dumb at all.
They know. You have a 917 number for your New York number, right? Or 97? No, you have a US number. It looks like, Angie. Is that?
No. I have an Indian number. I think I joined through Zoom Workplace. I didn't have it installed, so I have no idea what it did on my computer
Oh,
or what
okay.
it's
That's why I
showing.
was confused. All right. Yes, it's showing a
No,
like a New York number, or a Brooklyn
no.
number, I think, but it's not. Okay. Yes. Um, we Echo is in New York via China, right? Via China.
Yes. I am.
Anik is in Gdansk, Poland, via, well, Poland. Here is Anik's son, my little Gemini twin here. Hello. Say hi, honey. Come say hi. Hi. How are you? God, you're so tall. It's crazy. Anik and I have had many conversations about how to help kids push through the the sort of drawing struggles. Because the struggle is real. So real.
Yes, but it's getting better, honestly saying. Recently,
It's getting better, but you have to kind of train it in.
Yeah, but honestly, they also had like freestyle classes at school. Lucky, lucky me, alternative school very much. So they were just basically like having like last year 1 hour just do whatever you want. Here you get the paint, and you whatever you do, you just basically put on a paper which was stuck to the walls, like big pieces of paper. So kind of he opened a little bit, and now since he's also forced to write and try
and they're
try the
connected,
letters
those
and so on,
things.
it's getting to connected, and his pictures are like 3 times better.
That's amazing, because he's gaining manual dexterity, right?
Yeah.
So
That's
there's several
everything.
pieces to that. There's things, and you guys are all doing very good. I'm going to just model it for you. You're doing very good at drawing form, which is the same as learning to handwrite, exactly the same, which is looking down and then doing a line and then looking up, looking down, doing a line, looking up, checking down. Did I get that right? Looking up, right? It's a constant down, up, up. And then getting your hand to be able to use that tool, right? Which is hard, like holding the tool is hard. So there's a lot going on. Many things going on, many skills that have to be practiced. So it's never easy. I remember one of my best friends is, she's Kenyan, but lives in London, in Oxford. And her daughter, she's just a brilliant person. And her daughter, Nara, also very brilliant. And at the age of 6 was like reading at like a 12 comprehension level. And you know what I mean? Like doing all that stuff. But the first 5 lessons I did with Nara ended in her tears. She cried every time. And I was like, oh my God, I feel so terrible. And her mom would say, don't worry, Leah. Just whenever she started to cry, JC would hug her and we'd stop the lesson and I'd feel terrible. And JC would say, we'll see you next week. And then after like 5 or 6 lessons, because Nara was not used to the idea of not being good at something. And right at 6, she already had that expectation. So we let her cry. And then after a while, I would say, JC would say, would you like Leah to show you how to do this? Do you want to try again? You want to do this again? In a very gentle way. And now, like, Nara is fantastic with like, and she doesn't even remember it, right? She doesn't remember the crying. She just remembers that like she hit that wall. And I felt terrible for a while. And then I realized a really important learning was happening, that she had to learn it takes time to learn how to do this. And she had to learn it's okay to make mistakes along the way. Huge. It was huge. And now she's like, I don't know, 20 and brilliant and can do everything. But, like then, she was just a little kid, a little brilliant kid who was struggling like every other kid to do a circle, because that's really hard at the beginning. like when you're starting to do that. We blocked it out because it's so, we blocked out everything that was really hard to learn, quite frankly. We've blocked out how hard it was to learn language. We've blocked out how hard it is to handwrite. And handwriting and drawing are exactly the same skill. In fact, copying a sentence 100 times on the board is the best thing you could do for your drawing. Although in the US, they decided that that was not creative. I'm like, that's insane. It's a skill, right? We have to practice it. Yeah, it's crazy, but they were like, well, they're copying the same thing over and it's not their own thing and blah, blah, blah. They should do their own thing. I'm like, I don't actually think they should do their own thing. They should learn how to copy like something and get their hands to do the thing. And that has been the biggest killer in the US of visual spatial thinking.
I think it's happening, unfortunately, around the world, and then people pay big money to learn calligraphy. The thing that my grandpa actually was taught at school.
At school, I know, it's crazy. It's just so crazy.
I think also like there's a lot of people in schools who actually don't know how to work with kids. My mom's a teacher, so she tells me this a lot. She says there's a lot of people who've studied a lot of degrees, but they haven't actually worked with kids. And kids are little sponges, right? Like they copy.
Yes.
That's the first thing you do is imitate something your parents, like sounds, whatever your parents are doing. So they learn by copying. You cannot expect a kid like to spontaneously develop creativity. They have to learn the basics and then they develop their own. So
and it explodes, right? It explodes for, yes, exactly. I'm sorry, Angie, you got me excited. Yes, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. What happens is, and I want you all to notice that although I have taught you a skill set and asked you to do a single thing, none of you did it the same way. You did use the techniques that I asked you to do, but you automatically made decisions about placement, made like things that you might think you're unconscious about, but are connected to your voice, your creative voice. So skill will absolutely engender voice. That just happens. You don't have to worry about that. It's there. I'm not crushing your voice by telling you not to do it, right? It's all imitation. I just was with my granddaughter who's 2. And as I said, I watched her do the same damn thing. Like she climbed up on a couch. Her mother and I were sitting on the couch and she climbed up on the couch and climbed over her mom's lap, climbed over mine, climbed down. She did that 500 times. Like I just sat there absolutely joyously, and every time she kind of figured out how to put her foot a little bit differently and a little bit, and we just sat there and let her climb all over us. And that was the greatest joy of her life, sitting there and climbing up and doing the repetitive activity over and over again, because that's where she is. Right? She's in the copy mode. She's in the, I'm going to do it till I can, and she was having fun with it. It was totally fun for her, kind of boring for us, but fun for her. And I think, Angie, I think some adults forget it's kind of boring for adults, right? So they kind of forget that repetitive thing is necessary because we already know it.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I think it's also because I think schools have gotten super competitive. I don't know about the US, but in India, we have like 30, 40 kids in a class and everyone's parent wants them to do well. So
yeah,
kids are pushed to learn. Parents don't have the patience to teach them because they have jobs and they have like 2, 3 kids at home, or maybe even just one. And my mom sees this a lot. Like she tells them like, you have to sit with the kid. Like she teaches English. So you have to sit with the kid. You have to read to them. And they're like, ma'am, I already have like 2, 3, I have another kid. I can't do this. And they expect everything to be learned at school. So everything at school is rushed. And you can't help children who are struggling because you get questioned. Like, why is this child struggling? Maybe it's not the teacher's fault. Maybe it's not the kid's fault. Maybe it's not the parents' fault. It's just a combination of factors. So there's no patience for anything, I think.
Yes, it takes, God, that's beautifully put. That's absolutely it. I don't know. In the US, we're just getting dumber and dumber. So I think people don't care about like anything. I mean, some of us do. Like a lot of us don't.
I actually did hear that. I saw a 7th grade teacher in, I think, Florida or somewhere saying that he gets children who don't know how to read a paragraph and identify what's important in it. And I found that very shocking. Like, oh my goodness,
it's very shocking, and I believe it too. We're struggling. We're in kind of a dum-dum phase in our country's development, and we may not survive it. We may not, like, actually make it through without losing something essential like democracy. So it's interesting. It's an interesting moment here to see that. And right. And then the antithesis is which is what you're saying, is slow. It's slow, right? It's like a slow, let's practice, let's repeat, let's do this until we get right. We don't allow ourselves that. We don't, we don't want to allow our kids that. And we don't want to allow that things take time to learn. I'm going to pull this down. I want you guys to just work on these drawings until you're done and send them across the thread. But in the meantime, I want you to stop what you're doing, write down 3 words that describe how you feel right now. And then I'm going to ask you to read all 9. In your case, Angie, 6. So Ani, yes, spend a minute to a second to write down 3 words that describe how you feel. And Ani, would you start?
All right.
What did you do at the beginning of class?
I felt like I have a challenged, a bit tired. I was excited, but kind of feel in a nervous way. So
Yes.
then it was calmer. Still, I felt challenged, but paradoxically less tired.
Yeah. And now at the end, how do you feel?
It's just calm.
Okay, that's a
And-
wonderful class trajectory, right? You just
And
wrote calm
even-
3 times.
Even my thingy says that I'm calm.
Oh, you're wearing something. So,
Yeah, those are the birds.
oh, that's
Wow.
wonderful. That's wonderful. So I want you to finish that and then send it across whenever you're done. I want you to notice there's a trajectory there. It starts out as a little bit nervous. And everybody's is different. Who else wants to share? Kate, how about you?
I started out feeling shy, embarrassed, and excited. By the middle, it was focused, concentrating, and then effortful, which I'm not sure is a real word, but and now at the end, relaxed, curious, and a little bit inspired.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that an amazing shift that happens? What about you, Echo?
So in the beginning, I was feeling a little bit slow.
Yeah.
And I had just woken up and bitter because that's the taste of coffee in my mouth. And
Yeah.
I just thought it was nice to kind of start a new thing, to know new people. And now I'm feeling hopeful because I feel like there are a lot more of this to come and to look forward to. I'm also feeling a little bit stiff on my neck and my back.
Right. Okay. Good things to notice.
Also, this is not really an adjective, but I wrote down explore because I actually wanted to explore more, not only in drawing, painting, but when I was painting, I was thinking of a book I had been wanting to read, and I thought, oh, maybe this afternoon I can read that book. So anyway,
Awesome.
that's the 3 words I have.
Guys, quickly, I want Angie to do hers too, but I want to introduce you to Lado Pochqua, who is the teacher that starts in about 10 minutes. Lado's in upstate New York. He is a very dear friend of mine, one of my favorite people in the world. He has taught, we met in Budapest. Lado is from the Republic of Georgia originally, child of the world, fantastic artist. And
thank you, Leah. Sorry,
yeah.
I didn't realize you have a class. I didn't
No,
really think
it's
to.
great. I want you to jump on, and if you want to, anybody else is welcome to stay. If you want to continue your drawing into Lado's class, there is no problem with that. He takes like sort of people at individual level and they work on projects, so you can just keep working on your project if you feel like it. This class is free for you. How else would you describe this class, Lado?
Oh, I think what we're working on is we're creating portfolios. We're creating coherent body of work. So that's what we do, kind of.
Yeah. And it's kind of a salon.
Not much of a just a beginner's technique, but if someone already has a little bit going, we're creating portfolio with those images.
It's really fun. And you spend a lot of time talking about art. It's quite a salon style experience, I like to tell people.
Yeah.
Lado is very well read and he knows a lot. He has a
Oh
lot
my
of
goodness.
information.
Now I will believe you. Will
Believe
get in
me.
my head right now. I will believe your words.
And Angie, why don't you tell us the 3 words that, well, you wrote 3 words down when you joined in, and then 3 words that you feel now. Can you share them with us?
Me?
What?
Angie.
Angie, okay. So I'll be back, Leah. Okay, I'll be back.
Okay.
Okay,
got it.
sorry guys to interrupting you. What's that?
He's hilarious.
When I joined, I guess I was kind of nervous, obviously. I haven't
Yeah.
been in a formal art class before other than school, and I always failed those, so I was nervous. And I was excited too because I really want to like learn the basics. So that was interesting. And I've never met any of like so many people. I'm kind of shy, so I was excited. So those were the only 2 words. I only had 2 words to describe how I feel. So I just
All right. And how do you feel now?
I actually feel really happy after drawing. Like I think when you do something, like usually, like you said, the perfectionist thing, like it's not perfect, like that haunts you. I don't feel that. Like I feel like, okay, I've done something and I'm happy that I've done something. So I'm happy, I feel productive, and I just feel very bright.
Isn't it amazing, the transition? So this is the moment. This is a mental health program. That's what this is. At the end of the day, it's about mental health. I am not a therapist. However, I will talk endlessly about how you feel and what happens because I find it fascinating. And one of the reasons I have us do this exercise, and we'll do it in every class, is I want you to notice the transition. And very often in the middle, there's a little bit of struggle, right? There is a struggle that's a good struggle, which is the struggle to try and do the thing. I don't know what Kate said. She said effortful, right? It's the kind of effortful, like I'm like working very hard to do this thing. And maybe I'm comfortable with that, or maybe I'm not. Right. And I think it's okay to also say, I'm tired, I'm sad, this feels hard, too hard. Those are all things that are valid to say. I want you to say, you can throw them out there. I've heard it all. But notice that the transition moves from one thing, and usually something a little bit more tired or anxious or something, to something that feels good in the end. It's like jogging for your brain. We just exercised your right brain, and your right brain loves it. It's like, I love this. This feels great. In the middle, you're not always feeling great, but at the end, you feel great. Yeah.
Oh, I'll just show you what I've done, I guess.
Yes, please.
Here you go.
Ah, is that with marker?
Yeah, I have a bunch of markers
Oh, it
somewhere.
looks-
I know
Love
it's
it.
not a toucan, but it looks like a toucan to me. So.
It looks like a toucan. Well, no, it's a toucan. It is a toucan. That's a
Oh,
toucan.
okay. I thought it was too
It
small to
is.
be a toucan.
No, I think it is a toucan. I think it's a toucan. It looks wonderful. Look at how different these are. It's amazing to me. This is the thing. Your voice is your voice, and it's waiting to be activated. Your personality, all of these skills that our brain is trying to learn, we build upon them. If you think about it, if we go from evolution, where we didn't we didn't write, we didn't read, right? We're learning to speak. I'm talking about our very beginnings, from primate to something a little bit different, right? And I'm not even going to judge who's better, a primate or us, but we're all primates, but in some way, but you know what I mean? It's this, how do we get from that to Shakespeare? How do we get from that to Michelangelo? And more importantly, how do we get from that to you, who you are, how you know, how you expand, and how you think? It's incredible if you think about it. And it starts with these basic skills, where you have a little bit of success, it's like a brick in a wall. Next class, we're going to have a little bit more success. That's maybe another 2 bricks. So we're slowly building a new structure using these terms. And my job, and I think because I learned as an adult, because I started off as a journalist, I understand your stress, the level of stress that you're in, particularly right now. It's really rough. And I also understand how smart you are. And I understand how to describe things. I have found that in my life, some teachers were good at it and some were not. To describe, because I had to learn it as an adult. So every sort of frustration that is experienced, I know it, I can put words on it because I had it myself. And I remember thinking like, so as I was going through and learning it, I can kind of explain to you, I'm big on process. I want you to understand, Auntie, this is exactly what you want. I want you to understand why we do what we do, how we think what we think. So next week, we're going to work with shading. It's quite a fun exercise. In the meantime, please look at the drawing tips I put in the thread for you. I will upload the video. You're welcome to review it, to try it again, do it with your kid, whatever you want to do. And continue to communicate with each other. If you, hey, look at what I did this, I did that. Everybody likes this idea. Everybody loves the sharing part is the really fun part. And I want to tell you guys, it's great to meet you. And it's an honor. Thank you for letting me work with you for 2 hours. I thought this would only go 90 minutes, but we've gone almost 2 hours. So I'll see you next week. And thank you. It was a pleasure, absolute pleasure to work with you today.
Thank you. That was a really
Okay.
lovely lesson. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm glad
Thank you,
everybody has a
everyone.
nice little calmness. I'm going to make Lotto the host.
Enjoy
this-
your open studio.
Thank you.
Yes.
Cross your
Thank
you.
fingers that I make some money. I have a car.
Mama, I drew some leaves. Look, Mama, I drew some leaves. Mom, look, I drew some
Thank you so much. And anybody who wants to is welcome to stay on and just continue on working on what you're working on in Lotto's class. Look at Ani's getting her paintings ready and is ready to go. Or if you want to, you can pop off, but you're welcome to stay as long as you want. And I'll see you guys next week at the same time.
I'll see you next
Bye.
Bye.
Diana, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm trying to put some nice music. Let's continue.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anik is here. Anik is taking it
No.
seriously.
Oh.
So, what was your 3 words?
At the beginning.
I don't know. Leah was asking. It's very interesting.
Oh, at the very end, it was just calm and calm and calm because I released the nervousness of the
Not
day.
sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
No, I'm I'm
it's
not
never
big on
works. I
statements.
don't know who came out with this.
So was there a painting session with Leah before this?
There was the because of the mental health weeks at Reuters, the beginning drawing.
Oh, okay. That's why I wasn't.
Okay, I'm jumping in.
You,
I'm so
you
excited.
don't need that, Anik.
I don't
I'm
know.
excited. We
Sometimes
have a
I like
sunny
to
day.
come back to the beginning because it keeps me like also kind of conscious about the fact that it's not never done the process, and
No,
maybe
it's
I will
not.
pick up something, some ideas, techniques, and something and
Hi,
something
Ginny.
to
No
help
pasaran. I
I
was
think-
listening Pirates of Penzance yesterday.
What is that?
It's a musical. So I'm doing my homework because I'm trying. I told Ginny I don't like musicals, but then I realized I actually never explore the genre. Now I'm doing little by little.
Did you listen to the I am a very model of a modern major general? That's
Something, yeah. It's just like me.
It's so clever. It is so clever. I can't
It's
even do it.
clever. It's me, my wife, and my son.
Mhm.
Who's like going to with a Klein in it, right? One of the movies. Yeah, it's wonderful. It's just you should treat it as a joke, right? As a very clever.
It's a spoof. It's making fun of opera.
Yeah. Okay. Now Diana sent me image. So I'm doing my homework every week. I'm gonna talk a little bit about musicals.
Good boy.
Good boy.
Diana looks terrified.
I don't know. I cannot open it. I don't know why it's not opening. Just oh. Very nice, very nice. Diana, very nice. So I think you need to make this. As I remember, photo had the white spots there. The original photo of your painting,
yeah.
It has like white wall, I think, behind.
Yeah.
That's very successful. That toned down white pulls whole thing together, I think.
Okay.
And I think your okay, fruit needs some work, but it's
everything
wonderful.
needs
It's kind of
everything
like
needs work. Everything
it's
needs
wonderful.
work.
I love it very much. I
I'm
know you're
gonna-
gonna finesse it right now, and it's gonna be finished.
I'm gonna work on the leaves as well. There's only
And
one.
I see. Yeah, it's very good to see. Like you see in the thread, it's last 2 images is yours. How it was last week and what is now. It's a big difference. If you look, you'll see the.
Okay.
Very nice. Also think about shape of the fruit.
Yeah.
Is it? Let me see the original photo.
Yeah, the sun is coming pretty much from up a little bit from the left, but
Yeah.
mostly from up.
And don't forget that it would have shadow, warm shadow under when shape goes in, and then that little white spot, almost like a fingerprint, on a light.
I've indicated that on the fruit.
Yeah, that will pull the whole thing together. And then I would really love you to recreate that this gray shadow on the white wall behind. That will make it look sophisticated and look like a vibration of the light and the world,
Okay.
Yeah, wonderful. I love the photo. I really do. It's simple. And I love pomegranates. I told you in my Georgian place, there's like tons of pomegranates. Oh, I need to go to Georgia, guys.
What is it called in Georgian?
Granat. Granat.
Granat. And that's what it's called in Swedish too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's a kind of yeah, it's a kind of common word, you know.
Which could also mean a grenade in
Yes.
Swedish.
Same in Polish.
Yeah.
In Italian, it's granomelo. For some reason. And does not have a second meaning to my knowledge.
My
But
little
granat, it's like people using it. It's a more Russian, more international word. The real word, like Georgians, it's brotzeuli. Brotzeuli. But like if you want to sell it, let's say to Azeris, or to Armenian or to Russian tourists, you use granat. So it's two words, like brotzeuli. Prominent thing in Georgian cuisine, very prominent thing. Kind of mystical fruit, isn't it? Because if you cut it in half, inside you have construction almost divine, you know?
Yeah.
Of those little seeds inside, and the color. Now that music is too loud right here. What's going on?
The color is basically one of the first false friends that my husband learned.
Yeah. Is
Because
it
of the-
same like a granat, also the stone, right?
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. But for my husband, for instance, granata, in the meaning of a color, is a type of the burgundy red.
Yeah.
I'd say.
It comes from a fruit, probably. It comes from the fruit.
It comes directly from the fruit. While granatowe in Polish is basically navy blue.
Navy blue.
Yeah.
Wow.
No idea why, actually.
Oh.
Something that I probably will have to at some point anyway research, but it's a constant thing that my mom makes fun of when it comes to colors.
I mean, Slavic languages are strange. Like uroda in Russian means ugly. In Czech, it means beautiful. Hi, Francesca.
In Polish also.
Is in Polish also uroda means beautiful?
Yes, urodziwe means very nice.
Oh my God. And in Russian, it means the ugliest ugly, you know? Urodina. It's like, and beautiful, красивый, which is like krasny, red, you know?
Yeah, in Czech, krasny means nice.
Okay.
So in Polish, we don't have this word, which is fun.
I think like we were talking about a recent Nobel Prize winner with Sandra, this Korean writer, which is very nice. I'm reading right now White Book, and I think she's in Warsaw, you know?
Yeah.
That meditation on the color white. And there's like she's in a foreign city destroyed in the Second World War. And I think it's the Warsaw, you know.
Yes, it is Warsaw because she actually said that in an interview.
Oh, okay.
That she went to Warsaw, and everyone was like, "Why are you going to Warsaw? It's ugly and cold there. It's Poland."
So you see, your country coming back all the time. So Poland comes even in that kind of. It's an interesting book. It's like prose poems, you know. I'm enjoying it, but I'm enjoying it in a little kind of doses, you know. Couple of those per day, you know. Interesting. So it's a Warsaw, yeah. Because you're not mentioning what city is that, you know. There is no, but description like, okay, it's Warsaw. It can be anything else.
My cat is not leaving me alone. I think I have to paint with a cat in my lap.
Okay. You could be known as a master with a cat on a lap.
Yep.
One of the cat ladies. Have you voted?
You're not a cat lady. Come on.
Our early voting starts next weekend, but I plan to be first in line.
Oh my goodness. How is going so far? So we got it, guys. We got it this time around. It's all good.
I hope so.
I hope so.
I'm gonna
I'm
count
worried
down
about the
after
swing
result.
states.
All be good. Don't worry. Gretchen Whitmer with her Eucharist joke will bring Michigan. Absolutely. What is that? Did you guys see that? Why are you doing that before election?
What, him just playing music and swaying?
No, no, no. Gretchen Whitmer, governor of Michigan.
Yeah.
What did she do?
Has some kind of female TikToker on her knees in front of her, and she gives her Doritos like it's Eucharist in Catholic Church. And like,
Oh,
do you want to alienate Christians just 2 weeks before election? Why?
Or
I didn't
Well,
see that.
Yeah,
I didn't see that either. My guess is she thought it was being funny and she didn't, well,
I
why
know,
don't you
but
let
like,
it be on TikTok? That's
seriously,
stupid.
this is crucial for us, the Michigan.
Was this something she did a long time ago and now someone's
No,
found it?
it's just now. Just Google it, but just now, Gretchen Whitmer Doritos. And it doesn't,
Or is
I
it
mean,
real or is it a meme? Someone making it that way.
no, it's the thing. It's nice. They actually, I'm surprised that Republicans don't make thing out of that.
They will.
They will.
I think it's like 5 days ago. But like, I don't know. I'm not a politician. Maybe that's gonna win Michigan. But anyway.
Yeah, scary times.
It's scary times. It's just like you need to be strategic, right? I mean, you need to be strategic. You need to cater for every vote you have, you know.
Yeah, as long as if the young people come out, she will be fine.
Just message should be: put your phones down for half an hour, please. You can be on the phone while you're standing in line.
I think that would be insulting.
I know, I'm kidding. Anyway, so life goes on. We have beautiful weather, and my mood is absolutely. It's amazing how sun makes you happier. I miss Sandra. It's not a full lesson right now without Sandra.
Yeah. She is heavy into her Japanese classes.
I know. I'm sorry, guys, but she's one of my favorite person.
We know she's your favorite.
I know. I like challenges, and I like her work, and I like her knowledge about everything. She's nonchalant about it. By the way, she's like, oh yeah, I know that. She's even like read this Nobel Prize winner before. I mean, it's amazing. Sandra is amazing. Tell her for me.
But it was a Korean that won the prize, right?
Yeah.
Of course she's ready.
Of course she's ready. She's obsessed with that. I have a class right now. I'm teaching at school.
Yeah.
At my daughter's school, I have a printmaking class with kids.
Yeah.
And I have two wonderful Korean girls. It's like 4th graders. And I think their parents are linked to Cornell, and the girls just moved like 6 months ago. So English is not really there yet, you know? But we start printing, and you know how like Korean culture and printmaking, right? Like
yeah.
And they just took over. They absolutely knew what to do, you know? And another thing is, when like let's say kids who grew up here, American kids, would wait for my instruction and would wait me to roll the ink for them, those girls just like They would
They
just
just
take it
dove
easy,
in.
they would just print, and it was like amazing to see this level of independence is a little bit higher when, yeah. I also have a boy who is like very good 70% of the lesson, and then 30% of the lesson he started insulting everyone and like makes people cry. And I'm like, dude, you are hungry. And next time I'm gonna bring a little snack, you know, because it's after school. My son will have a 6th grade, will have a art on the next semester. So that gives me hope, and interesting to see.
I have bought the masking liquid.
Fantastic. You are the best, Francesca. I know I
No,
praise Sandra, but in reality, it's
no,
you.
no, I'm
So what I want to
know,
do right now, take the brush and apply this masking tape all around your sneakers.
around or above?
Above, yeah.
Above. Okay.
So, and then when you have those shoelaces, be very gentle also, like paint above it, like you need to cover entire shoe, whole thing. Let it dry, and then add another layer. And then I want you to go
masking. Okay.
Yeah, and then I want you to go crazy. I don't know where you're gonna do that. You can spray over it. You can Jackson Pollock. You can splash. You can just do wherever. All colors you have. And then let it dry, and then take the masking tape over. But before that, maybe you should also try on the side, just to see how masking tape works, you know?
Okay, maybe I will try on like on an old like painting I don't like much.
You can put. And
I
another
have
thing is
a brush that is made of caoutchouc plastic.
Yeah.
So I don't have to throw it away. Okay.
Yeah, because it would kill the
brush, the normal brush.
You talk to the selling person, right?
Yes, a little bit, yeah.
Very good to know that Italians would suggest, if you're buying that, buy that. It's very good.
Yeah, but yeah, it was difficult to find. I had to go in 3 different shops, but yeah, I know there is one near an art school, which has everything, which is my favorite, but it's a bit far from my house. So, but finally, I
when I'll
found
come to Milan, you'll take me there.
Sure. It's near to an art museum and
that's what we do. We go to art museum and we'll buy that. Another my tradition, I'm going to use bookstores and record places. Right now we have huge, I was talking to Diana last time, we have a huge library book sale. And I'm like chaining myself like a Prometheus not to go there, because if I go there, I'll bring 3 boxes.
You want to buy everything.
Yeah,
I understand. It's also it's
I went there yesterday.
Some of my favorite
the
activities to go to bookshops.
Yeah, but that's like very cheap. And the last day of sale in 2 weeks will be $1 for bag of books.
Okay.
Bag of books is $1. And I saw yesterday, I went there yesterday, I saw this wonderful book, Prose of the Russian Painters. It's very interesting.
Strange.
It's probably not a good prose, but like, why I didn't buy it? It's just like curiosity's sake, you know.
I will go to and get like something I can try, something old that I don't like.
Yeah.
I knew it was something I missed yesterday. I missed my local library's book sale.
You were talking about that last week.
Yeah, and I forgot about it. I knew it was something I was going to do, but I couldn't remember what.
Yeah. It's always nice, and you're meeting people you know too. You know, I'm meeting a lot of people. I live in a small town also, you know.
Yeah.
I'm missing my buildings book exchange right now. They do it for our whole complex. So there's like, I don't know, 3,500 people here, and everyone can just bring books they want to get rid of and then take books they want.
I love
But
that.
you can where it happening in the
Oh.
basement,
Yeah,
so you can go after it would be there.
yeah. But it's really dangerous because I go and I just get books and books. I take 3 books there and I come back with 20. It's the point is to get rid of them.
Yeah, and in my case, that book sale has a lot of Russian books too, because of like and it has like interesting text. Sometimes you wouldn't like. It has facsimile. I didn't buy it. Lev magazine. Lev was like a Bolsheviks 20s magazine, and I look at that and I didn't buy it. It's only a thing I would need it if I would write something about it as a reference point, because that 20s aesthetic bothering me a lot.
So I just put the brush in the liquid and
yeah, and cover everything. Then let it dry and cover again, because you need to cover completely. And just don't be afraid. It's a very old and credible technique. It's not, remember you showed me the image, and it's exactly how it's done. White sneakers and a crazy around, like a graffiti style.
Yeah.
That's how it's done. If it's not Photoshop, that's how it's done.
Okay, now I'm trying on something which is old and it's I don't care.
Yeah, you can cover. It's a beautiful apple, by the way. You can cover. It's not pastel, right? It's acrylic.
No, it's acrylic.
Yeah, so cover an apple and then create crazy background.
Okay.
Like splash, and let's see. That would be our lesson, and then you can do it on your own time too, you know, or the second part of the lesson. You can cover your shoes.
And shall I put the brush? I mean, to polish it in the water? No.
No water, no water. Just the thing, just the thing.
Okay.
Just the thing. Open it up and just to cover entire apple.
Okay.
No water. And it will dry. It would be kind of like a rubber sealing level, you know, like on the top of that. It would be like rubbery kind of little gluey. And then you can paint around it, and then it will peel off.
Okay.
And so I want you to try to do that. But it needs to be completely dry when you're peeling it off. It needs to be dry, because otherwise it will take parts of paper. It should be totally dry. I am printing right now like a crazy with jelly plates.
This is probably a good challenge for me, because I don't like white. And so I'm trying to mix it with other colors.
So I mean, white is never completely white. So that is, you know, you can add a little bit something there.
I do. I add blue, I add yellow, I add red. And I mix those three to variations, but I'm just not good with the whitish things.
Today my son has a basketball game, so I'm gonna finish that class and just go there to see his basketball. Kind of excited about that.
That's good.
I said, don't you miss soccer? We can play soccer. I said, no, why? We can play basketball. It's much more pleasurable. Okay. Dude.
Yep, he's done with soccer.
Done with soccer, yeah. But soccer like a unpleasant game, really. Trippy and very hard. Technique is very hard. You're running a lot. And then those Italians will be always better than you, so. Not anymore, Francesca, what's happening?
The Spanish are much better.
Spanish are much better.
Argentinians.
Yeah. That Messi is eternal guy. When the guy is gonna retire? Come on, dude, enough now.
I think he's where he is now?
In
Can't
America,
remember.
in Miami.
Ah, okay.
Also,
Inter Miami scored hat-trick
short,
yesterday.
short of retirement.
You see, at the same time when Diana was Göteborg fan, I also watched Göteborg.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It came natural to me being from there.
I know. But you know, right now everything's so almost corporate, you know, almost you need to root for big clubs, you know?
Yeah.
Manchester City, Milan, or like big clubs like Barcelona. And I remember when we were talking about our little hometown team played in the third league in Soviet Union, you know? That's what I like, local.
You know the white you see in the background of my painting?
Yeah.
That's actually, it's light gray. It's
Yeah.
It's my studio.
So nice. You see, how is your studio? Is still going right now? Someone is working on it?
Yeah, someone is working. It's still on this spackling phase. The spackling and sanding of the walls on the inside.
When you're gonna have a first class there, you should open champagne.
Yeah, I guess I will. I doubt it will be this year. I think maybe early next year. I was hoping like early December, but
yeah,
I doubt it. It depends because my guy that's building it, he's going away for 2 weeks, so
it's a big gap. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, so he's not there enough.
Is it normal that it makes these strange like brush strokes?
Yeah, because it's probably not dry yet. Parts of it dry, parts of it not dry, right?
Ah, okay. Or maybe I put a lot.
So let it
where
dry.
it's gray.
When it's,
okay.
Yeah, when it's dry, it will disappear.
And then I will put another one, another layer.
Yeah, you can put another layer over it, and then it will dry again, and then just splash things, experiment, and then we'll see how it works. So that will keep your sneakers white and background graffiti, because that's you know why I really wanted to do that, because sneakers are this youth culture and the graffiti culture and all that. But now I'm saying,
No, I understand.
you know, it's really interesting.
Yeah, and then I will need
Yeah.
to put a lot of paper on on the floor to like splash.
You can do
color.
it. You can do it. Or some plastic, some cellophane. But you know what's really
Okay.
interesting? I said that sneakers are youth culture and stuff like that. But those kind of images with graffiti and sneakers, Nike, Jordan, it's from 80s. It's 40 years ago. And 40
When we
years ago.
were, when I was a teenager.
So then I was a
basically.
teenager in 80s.
Yeah, me too.
No one in the world would consider it things of 40s, like it's modern, it's contemporary, it's a youth culture. No one would say about the music of Bing Crosby or like a 40s outfits. You know, I'm talking about 40s, this black and white. And now time kind of stopped moving. It's like, it's still sneakers, graffiti, all that hip hop music. It's 80s. It's like half century ago. Unbelievable,
it's
actually.
true.
Why is that? What's going on?
But at the same time, you have also like very different, strange things, you know, in art. You have like digital art. You have strange stuff, you know. So you have something very new, very frontier that maybe we don't care so much because it seems too weird for us.
Yeah. But I'll tell you
I don't know.
something, Francesca, even that too weird stuff, if you put Andy Warhol in front of it, Andy Warhol's huge fluorescent, full of color works, Andy Warhol, who created it in 80s and 70s, would look amazing with anything contemporary. It's still fresh.
You're right. No,
And
you're right. Totally.
I think if you put also art created in 40s in front of us in 80s, it also would look fresh. Big art is not really
changed so much.
Yeah, but I'm talking about pop culture. So what would be pop culture of 40s? Dixieland, New Orleans jazz, Bing Crosby, all that.
Big band.
Big band. That sound in 80s was absolutely dead. It's no one would listen it. No one. It's done. You know. Benny Goodman. You know. Chattanooga Choo Choo. You know, all that kind of Glenn Miller band. It was like from. And now it's not that much. So what's going on? It's like we were playing basketball with my son and we're listening Def Leppard. You know the band Def, and it's like album from 1982. And I said, dude, and it sounds great. And it's like, yeah, let's say he shoots ball. I said, it was recorded 42 years ago.
If you look at the kids now, like basically because academic year started and I'm commuting to the office and I can watch them live basically how they are dressed up. They are dressed up as I was in the beginning of 90s.
Absolutely. 100%.
And I feel like I'm you know if especially that when I'm traveling I'm still before my first coffee of the day and I'm like
baggy pants.
I'm going to school myself. What's going on?
What's going on? Yeah.
You're traveling in the past.
It's basically like time travel train.
But what happened right now with American kids, generation of my son, 11, 12, 10, they have totally different slang. They could talk, you would not understand a word.
Yeah, I hear a lot of slang that I don't understand.
Skibidi, Ohio, Riesler, Sigma, Alpha, get your gear out here, bro. I mean, it's like
bro.
Goes on, and you're like,
bro is also in Italy.
Bro is, but like Skibidi, Ohio, it's apparently you're not good.
What?
You're doing something not very
what?
good. Skibidi, Ohio.
So it's
not cool. It's like,
you're cursing someone.
That's like J.D. Vance, not cool.
Not cool.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That is basically.
But he's from Ohio,
Yeah, he's from Ohio.
Yeah, and so like a Riesler, they call it Riesler. It's a guy who looks good, dressed good, girls love it. It's a Riesler. Gyot is your ass. Like bring your gyot here. It's like bring your ass here. stuff like that. So they could talk like hours. But and another thing is when I started using that, because I know all this word, my son is embarrassed for me. Like he said, Dad, don't do it ever again.
I think I agree with your son.
Yeah,
they coming, so he brings the friends to play. I said, "Come on, guy, what's up, Rizzlers?" And he goes, "Dad,
No, don't do it.
Just don't.
But
That is embarrassing.
does your
It's
son tell
embarrassing.
you that you're a boomer?
No, I'm not a
My
boomer.
daughter
I'm
always tell me, Mom,
Hey,
stop
boomer.
it. You're a boomer.
No, that's I don't like that. It's I went to in Belgium. I met my friend who lives in Netherlands, and he brought his kids, teenagers. In the Dutch kids would talk about this American slang, and they knew everything.
Really? Ah, okay. Because maybe they on the
Your son will
internet
also ask your kids, do you know what Skibidi Rizzler and Ohio Rizzler and Sigma and Alpha?
Just they watch the same internet. They watch the same.
They watch the same social Instagram.
And so I'm not welcome to that world. I cannot use Skibidi Ohio Rizzler.
But I like that Ohio is
bad.
Yeah.
Skibidi is good, but Skibidi Ohio is not good.
That's interesting.
But what does it mean, skibidi?
No, it's nothing. What slang? It's something.
It's a sound. Just a sound.
Maybe skipping. I don't know. It's like, and there is the whole videos, guys. It's so funny. There is a young guys, middle school teachers, who just recreate absolutely mannerisms and slang of that generation. They're like in their 30s, but they dress like those guys, and they're talking like those guys.
You have to send the video. Send the link.
It's hysterical. And my son wouldn't believe, like, oh yeah, that's like it's.
So yeah, we are trying to look young. I mean,
but I like it.
But
it's very distinct. It's very distinct generation,
Yeah, but it's normal. They try to have their language, no? Their language, their outfit, their culture, their music.
Outfit is always hoodie. It's always like, oh my God, I collapse from laughter when
you see
the hoodie. Absolutely, they all hoodies, and then like a homework he gets, because I don't know now. Right now,
I have a hoodie.
Me too. Okay.
Hoodie, and now you see, Jeannie, they all have hoodies except you and me. What's going on?
I just don't wear it when I paint.
Bring a hoodie next week.
All in hoodies.
Yeah.
I wear my hoodie when I'm not feeling well. And then I do wear it indoors with the hood up if I'm not feeling well.
I should send you those videos. I should share it with you. I don't know how to do that.
Please.
I don't know how to do that, but it's unbelievable. And those two teachers, they have like millions of followers, because they just like they captured that spirit of this young.
If they are watching this every day,
they talk about the kids have something called zoomies. Then the boy suddenly in the class takes over. Suddenly for no reason, just runs somewhere. Zoomies.
Zooming.
That's what my dog does.
Yeah,
or like every piece of paper in a basket becomes basketball. Every piece of paper, like on the floor. Yeah, interesting. I love it.
But if you're able to interact with teenagers, you have a very great skill. I mean, it's really something difficult.
Patience, right?
Yeah, but it's not enough.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can communicate, no, it's really a skill.
I
It's
know.
impossible to.
I'm getting ready because like I feel right now he's 11 and there is always already separation kind of happening. He goes to friends' houses and could be
It's normal.
somewhere for hours, not here, and all will come just, Dad, I need the food, or Mom, I need the food, and that's it. Or we will go somewhere and they leave him at home alone, you know, which is like now we can do that. He's grown enough.
Is growing up, yeah.
Yeah, so separation, and you need to, leash is really longer, and you need to be just cool about it. Yeah, talk to teenagers. I'm pretty sure that is like, you know, like America is very, very how-to books. So it would be how to talk to teenagers. You know, it would be like entire shelves of the books, how to, yeah.
Yeah, but you can, I mean, throw it away.
It doesn't matter
because
what you do.
it's not gonna work, right?
No.
Doesn't matter
don't
what
think
you
so.
do. One day they will just wake up and they'll be like monsters.
Yeah.
And then